let's get right into it. If now, what particular bundler are you currently using? Just want to get an idea, basically what you're using and what you're trying to do with it, so I can kind of walk you through and give you as much help as possible.
Well, right now I'm trying to decide which one to use. So I'm not really. So I was looking into the pump kit, the one
Okay.
that Coinwave released, the new one that they have on the web,
Yep.
and then
Yep.
Vortex is one of them, the other
Yep.
one. And I was trying to see, you were talking about that J7 and then the let's see, the rapid launcher, but I didn't get an invite yet. So I was trying to see if those are different ones or what they're all about.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, let's get right into it. So, basically, in regards to your question about the rapid launchers, there's several different type of particular like bundlers, and I'm glad you asked the question because it's something I wanted to go over anyways. So it's kind of cool I get to do it two birds in one stone. But first of all, let's go over. You know what? I'm gonna record this to you for you as well, so you can have it. But all I'll do is I'm
Okay,
gonna
thank
share
you.
my screen and only open up what's called a whiteboard, so I can do some drawing and we can just talk about it and
Oh, okay,
stuff.
that's fine.
Google whiteboard free. Okay, and then let me go ahead and throw that up on the screen. Discord. Okay. And then we'll go to whiteboard here. Okay, perfect. And bring that down.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make it bigger. 1 second.
No, that's
Boom,
fine.
boom, boom, boom. There we go. Bam.
And also,
Okay.
I was watching the other one video that you posted about that new one that is coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, well, which one do I choose? There's like so many choices.
I got you. No worries. So let me open up the free whiteboard thing here. Is it just me or is yours inverted? Like, is it looking the opposite way?
Oh no, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Okay, start. All right. So first thing first, we'll talk about CT. That's kind of like what Coinwave does. Coin.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I am recording this so you can have it. If it is opposite, it'll be the other way during your recording.
Okay.
But Coinwave is going to be good for CT, for crypto Twitter news, CT news. It has a very good. Well, honestly, it's trying to compete with RapidX, with D7. There's a few other ones out there. These particular bundlers are there because they have APIs or they have some type of news advantage sources connected to them, and people that use those particular ones, they usually try to do like have you seen those devs on Pump that if you go into their profile and you'll see like they're launching on the dev wallet like consistently, they're like 300 launches on them. Have you seen those before?
Oh, yeah, some of them, yeah. Or you just see that dev that there's only one,
those are CT
coin
guys,
launch.
and one of the reasons,
Okay.
yeah, those CT guys, and one of the things is this: they're trying to essentially create a marketing portfolio for traders to know, like, okay, this is a dev who does, for example, only contracts that have to do dogs, or let's say a guy that only does death, CAs where it's like justice for whoever, and you'll see them stacking up on their actual accounts. Like if you go into their actual profile and it says like 30 or 40 or 100 different coins, and you start to look through them, and sometimes these guys are using these tactics specifically with these CT news because you're getting a following, almost like a social media following on Pump One, basic copy traders, and it's not really copy trading. You're copy trading your dev wallet at this point because even though you might be quote unquote coming in dev buy dev sell, if they see even out of 100, one went to Radium, did well, then they're gonna continue to follow your wallet basically. So that's the cool we gotta do. Okay. Then we move into another thing, which I'll call it Frogwiftools. Frog.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
I was looking at that too.
Yep. They do not. Now they do not have a CT scanner. However, they do certain other things that are a little better, I believe. For example, number one, the Frogwiftools is a serverless bundler. What that means is that all the private keys is non-custodial, which means basically when you download the actual application file, it's a standalone file that sits on your Mac or on your Windows, and beyond it does not have any connectivity to anything else beyond your internet. And so you can kind of have more security knowing that your private keys are not in the hands of any beta, any dev, because not necessarily the dev will drain you, but you could have a situation where the dev gets hacked, right?
Right.
And so that's something. But one of the things that I like, but beyond the serverless feature as far as being safe, is, to my understanding, and I could be corrected if I'm wrong, but Frogwiftools is the only bundler that I know that allows you to launch, and you don't even have to buy with a dev wallet. Honestly, you can launch the project with CA, and then you can go into Zero Block and basically snipe up to 3 wallets without being detected, and you don't even have to buy with a dev. So how the contract looks as a CT from the very minute it starts. No other bundler that I am aware of, they all require you to buy from the dev wallet in order to start the contract. And I'm not sure if that's something that they did on purpose, but that's something I just found out to be kind of cool. Frogwiftools, for me personally, also something that I use because it has what they call blueprints, and no other bundler has blueprints as well. So what blueprints is let's say if I want to do a project and I want to come in with a dev and I want to sell, let's say within like 3 seconds. And then after 3 seconds, I want, let's say, 5 other wallets to come in with volume, and then I want another 5 wallets come in after 5 more seconds. And then all of those wallets, I want them to automatically remove themselves from the contract after they made, let's say, 10% profit. So a blueprint allows me to set up these information things within the actual CA, so that way when I hit go, it automatically set up to exit out wallets. I'm not going to set up nothing. I'm going to look at the market cap. It'll go when the market cap gets there, type of thing, Now, I feel that personally, that the blueprints and the whole serverless and the whole thing as far as Frogwiftools goes, for me, I find it to be a really good way to grab secure supply and not have to worry about it. For me personally, I'm going to give you a good reason too behind this. So some devs would prefer to be behind the scenes. They don't want to have their face shown. They don't want to be doxxed, right? Then there's the devs that are on Pumpkitbundler that are actually on, obviously, docs that are actually on, the live streams, right? And I personally feel like if you were a live stream dev, or per se had like a team where, like, let's say for example, someone else was being the pawn or pretending they're the dev, but you're the ones controlling the strings behind the scenes, I personally feel that Frogwiftools works pretty well with this because it allows you to set up a blueprint, and then you can pretty much start it and set it and forget it, and then just entertain the crowd. And then while the market cap's going up, it pretty much will work on its own. And don't have to think about it. You don't, and you can just be you. And then I've done this several times with plays, and these plays were actually legit. Like, I've made, like, for example, like actual tech projects that work for Solana that weren't LARP, and then I went on live and like had everything set up, 10 wallets, boom, boom, boom. They hit, clean distribution, everything, no bubble maps. And then I'm just talking for like 2-3 hours. Next thing you know, the market cap's going up and they're selling positions for me, and I don't got to worry about, let me sell out because it's already set up.
Yeah. Right.
So that's a cool thing. Another thing, what we could talk about too is Pumpkit. Are you familiar with Pumpkit? I've been talking about that a lot too.
Oh yeah, I've seen all the videos you posted.
Oh, cool. Nice.
And I messed with it a little bit. I installed the other one, the Frogwiftools, on my BPS.
How is it so far?
Oh, it's good. I'm just testing what I can see and learning as I go from your.
You know what? Actually, now I think about it, I almost forgot. Let me go back real quick to Frogwiftools. Frogwiftools is another thing. The only bundler that I know that allows you to reclaim your fees, which is fucking amazing. Like, I've been in situations where, after you buy from and sell from your Solana wallet, a lot of people don't know this, but you might have like 0.01, 0.02 of dust laying in there. And like, if you have 400 wallets, that shit adds up. Like, bro, I made like 6 SOL on my dust the other day.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
And so that's a really good feature to have, but FYI. But going into Pumpkit, okay? So Pumpkit is supposed to be non-custodial. Also, it's got actually even better privacy because it does connect to Telegram, like kind of like how Bullocks does, for extra security. One thing that I do love about Pumpkit, and I actually have it open right here, is this one is gonna win more so in what's it called, painting charts. So
Right. Yeah.
there's devs out there, like I said beforehand, the devs out there that either docs. They're not so much painting, they're more so just talking, being the person that people quote unquote trust. Then you got the CT guys that obviously it's not about the trust, it's about what the news source is and who's the person who posted it. For example, last night, and this is a good example of how a person can use a bundler but still wipe the charts and it still be a particular good meme. For example, last night, KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, they posted on their Twitter of over millions and millions of followers, a particular restaurant chain, and that had, I guess, above. I'm not sure if it was like a 2-story situation or whatever, but above the KFC was like a lingerie store or something like that, and it looked really weird. Someone took a picture and said makes KFC sexy again because KFC posted it, and they were like, "What the hell?" Like, question mark. Like, who franchise owner put this thing there? But realizing that maybe it was 2 businesses, not one, And so that someone had used that post, right? Created an actual token with it, and basically came in with a shitload of volume, and then people start buying it just because the source again came from KFC. And from a normie perspective, that source seems like that particular person who was obviously KFC was the one that posted it, but really they didn't. Someone else did. So it allows you to have a little bit more marketing leverage when you have. And also, by the way, too, just FYI, some of these snipers, such as FrigoBot, or I think I saw that you had a couple ones. You have Sharp. Wait, don't you have Sharp on your thing? Yeah, Sharp.
Yeah, I do.
So,
yeah.
So like some of those bots, Sharp, Frigo, etc., they have metrics within them that are set up. So, for example, if you have a verified X account, and that verified X account has, let's say, for example, 10,000 followers or over 20,000 followers, it'll automatically snipe into the project. So you finding finding particular X accounts that have a certain amount of following to make memes is basically kind of like a niche of its own. Considering that you already have Sharp and you can see how that works,
Right, yeah.
Pumpkit, however, Yep. Now, Pumpkit, however, like I was saying, is going to be really good to paint charts. So if you're already launched a project, or you can launch in this as well, one of the things I love about it specifically is the ability to have a really full control when it comes to hotkeys. So, for example, if I wanted to select certain things, I hit C1, or these volumes up here, these see the trade, like boom, I can select them all, and I can also set up different, like for example, C5 is going to set up like my easy wallets. Or if I do C2, so I can definitely change quickly how I want to do it. And then on top of it, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it on Pumpkit, you have this thing called easy mode. Have you used that yet, or tried to use that?
Not yet. No. I'm just trying to read it through and just kind of see what it does and stuff.
Basically what it is let's say you have 5 wallets selected or 10, whatever you want selected. You can go in here essentially, and you have 3 different presets. But the way it works is you would go in here and you would set up that, like, the buy, for example, would be 50-50. So you want to do buy 50% time, and you want to sell 50% of the time. And then on top of that, you would type in what the amount was. So let's say you had 10 wallets, they all have about 1 SOL in them, and you want to do a buy between 0.2 to 0.8, for example. So what's going to happen is literally the chart's going to buy, and then it's going to sell automatically for you. But all you have to do that is hit Control Z, and that's the actual trigger for the easy call thing. Or you can hit this trade. You can click, or Shift Z. Either way, it's going to paint the chart. This is what I'll show you a chart that I painted on. Let me show you one. Here. Oh, Jack. So here's what I did with this. Back. Yeah. So all this was Pumpkit. Literally came up and it started going up and down, painting, like that. All this was Pumpkit. So I didn't have to. The difference between Pumpkit and a lot of other bots is, like, all these buys and sells like here, right? You have to kind of like eyeball it in a sense with the other bundlers, because you have to literally manually hit 50% or 10 to sell 2, 25 buy 2. You're manually triggering these buys and sells for these up and downs. And with this, all I was doing was going from preset 1, preset 2, hit Control Z, it would literally buy, sell for me, and it would literally create patterns to a point where people were buying in. At some point, I was like 5 SOL profit, and I could have just nuked the chart on them. But I was at this point just testing the chart painter more so they got lucky that day. but yeah, I was just testing everything, and it works. Obviously, you can see this is what it does without having to do too much. It's pretty good painting.
Right.
So everyone has a advantage. I would say that Pumpkit advantage would be for painting the charts, painting the charts. It also appears to be non-custodial. That's what the dev told me. But I'm gonna be honest with you, custodial. Anything that is online and it's web based, I always
Right.
think to myself like, how non-custodial can you be,
Yeah.
but it is what it is. But at this point of the game, he's got a basically couple different security protocols. One, obviously, being Telegram. The second one being, once you get in the website, you actually have to get a 2FA verification to export private keys. But anyways, this particular tool, considering that it doesn't have a CT attached to it, becomes a situation where you simply just have a nice meme and you want to paint the charts. And honestly, I think it will work well for people who are coming in with soul between like 40 to 50 soul, because having that amount of leverage, I've seen guys consistently all the time literally be on Pump Fund, literally not even go to decks. Like it's literally sitting at 45K on purpose. And so when someone buys in, right, boom, they buy a 2 soul buy, it brings it to 50K, and it takes 55 just to bond. What they're gonna do?
Right.
They're gonna literally look at their wallets here and see which ones are green. Like, see, for example, this is green. That one,
Right.
the one that's green, then boom, they're gonna sell that one out. That way, it keeps the market cap basically down, and then it traps that person from from profit. Basically, you're just accumulating them, and that's what happens. Or theoretically, it's called farming. But yeah, basically, that's what essentially what happened. And by allowing you to have leverage to seeing like each and every wallet allows you to basically know, okay, this one's already up 25%. Let me sell this one out. All right, cool. This, move on. Whereas nine times out of 10, most of these bundlers, to be honest with you, I don't know any bundler out there besides Pumpkit that allows you to see each and every wallet's P&L. Most of them, they'll do an overall P&L for all the wallets, but this one allows you to do each and every one. So that's a little advantage already for you when it comes to specifically farming when you're doing your paints and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's Pumpkit. That's gonna be for again for moving the charts. You know what I'm saying, to make it look as unique as possible. The serverless bundler, Frogwiftools, is gonna be more of a safe tip, but also I use this in conjunction for like docs launches because it kind of like has a blueprint feature. CoinWave is CT News. Penguin Tools is similar to I would say kind of Frogwiftools. They don't have the painting on there. But is there any other bundlers that I didn't mention that you were looking at that I can actually kind of walk it through with you better?
Well, I mean, one of them was Kinesis, but I think that one is way out of price range. It's crazy.
Kinesis, yeah. Let's talk about Kinesis. So yes, so just to FYI, I'm pretty sure that if you wanted to test it out for a day, I could get you like a day pass for free. FYI, okay. But Kinesis, the reason why they're a web bundler, of course. Now, the thing behind the scenes is this: one, they have a validated node, a very high validated node. What I mean by that, a stake node. What this means is that there's a lot of Solana being staked in their particular RPC, so that they're gonna get the faster validations to buy and sell. Like they'll get the first to change. So what happens is you'll see a lot of guys in the Kinesis group, and they'll have essentially like 4 to 5 tabs open, right? And the reason is because they're all dealing with the web program and not, an actual app. But these particular tabs will have, for example, let's say 5 wallets on this one, another 5 here, maybe another 8 here, and another 10 here, right? And what happens is, as soon as they hit buy, they set up their delays within each tab. So, for example, 1 second to 2, whatever. But once you hit go, they're boom, boom, boom in. But the great thing about Kinesis is it brings you, once you hit start, to this like a swap manager page where you can see all the buys and sales and all the activity. And so what happens 9 times out of 10 is when they're flustering the volume in, they're basically selling at the same time like a couple different wallets. So it makes it look like some snipers got their entry profits. And so the charts basically start to automatically look like this because you're taking sales of some of these groups. It's basically doing the same paint chart that PumpSwap did, but from a velocity standpoint. And really, Kinesis is they do have guys in there that do paint. It's definitely harder because you gotta like eyeball it, like I was showing you. But the good thing about Kinesis is that because you're working with this validator behind the scenes that's super, super fast, they usually have guys in there that will fucking rush 25, 30 soul into a contract and then basically dump for like 1, 2, 3 soul profits within like, 4 or 5 minutes. And these guys consistently do this on a consistent basis where they do like 10, 20 projects a day. They're up 20 to 30 soul just because they're doing velocity plays. And so what they're really doing too is they're also, they're also basically PvP snipers. When it comes down to it. Snipers and also people that see the contracts and that may be like, oh, this might be good. This is a completely rugging software. I'm not saying that all of them are definitely rugging, but like me personally, I feel like some of them have better things that support like projects that are, for example, more legit than like a Kinesis. Like these guys are ruthless. Like when you see rug charts that rug like consistently all the time, they're probably Kinesis users. And nothing bad about it. It's just like get it how you get it. But at the same token, I know some Frogwiftools guys that don't launch every day, but they'll launch one project a month and they'll make 30 grand. Whereas some of these Kinesis users will launch like 30 times a day and make 2 grand. So it just depends on how you want to work with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely to start something that is like like Pumpkit probably, I would say.
Yeah, Pumpkit is really cool. It's got a really cool dev. Like the guy literally has been cooking up non-fucking stop for like the last month. I feel like no, it's not that. Everything I've asked him, literally, he's put in there. And also on Pumpkit, they have a calculator too. I'm not sure if you're aware of it. But on the bottom, you can go down here, this calculator here, and you can see not only the soul price, but you can also type in, say, for example, let's say you're working with like 12 soul. Boom, 12.
I don't see your screen. Like it, I think it's
cut
out.
Oh, my bad. Let me get you
set
up.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, right, so this is allows you
in
to
regards
see
to
your
that, you mentioned like if it's over like 3,000 volume or something to but that you would say that I think to look at Kinesis. Does this one have an option to look at up like that? What the volume on?
No, at the moment there's not a volume calculator. I could actually ask him to add one, but there's not a volume on this one. I do particularly myself personally go to Kinesis a lot of times just to sneak in there and to see what's on. But also just to be transparent with you, like there is what's it called? There's actually 4,000 right now. I'll show you the charts right now. Right now we're at like 5,000. Pretty lot of volume right now. This, but yeah, what I want to say was there is a lot of places you could go. For example, I just put a YouTube episode out like right before talking to you about Alpub. They're a server that's on Discord that allows you to get the volume within 5 to 10 minute 5-minute intervals, 10-minute intervals, and also daily intervals.
Oh, okay.
Also, you also can see the report to what's trending for the day, like not only for the day but for the hour. So you can say, okay, like Justice, for example, is trending, or peace coins are trending. So let me create like a bunch of peace coins for the next 30 minutes or whatever, maybe. So if you get a chance, go to my YouTube and just look at the last video I put out, Alpub, and the link is there. And you can click on their Discord and it has all that stuff in there.
Oh, okay.
That way you don't gotta go to Kinesis if you don't have it.
Well, yeah, no, I don't have it. No, not yet, at least.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But yeah, now the question I have for you is like, where do you see yourself with bundling? Because for me, to be honest with you, brother, like I had to go through a whole bunch of bundlers, and lessons to figure out what makes me better in this industry. Like for me personally, I feel like my ticket to sell is not necessarily my paints, more so my tech. And what I do, for example, is I use this tech called Lovable. Are you familiar with Lovable?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. So you know how to use.
I've seen you using that.
Okay, perfect. So, yeah, I would literally just pick up like a LLM AI tool like Lovable, right? And you can literally create like projects like super fast and efficient, like to the point where, for example, Pikachu was going viral. Or at least the cards or whatever was going viral. So I just started creating like this Pikachu star site, like easy. It took like literally 5 minutes for it to code by itself,
Right, yeah.
All right, so yeah, so this is a good idea. I would say I would definitely look into something like this, because you could attach this to your projects, have the vanity already to your discretion. When you go into Pumpkit, you'll have the ability to copy and paste that to the website, and then boom, once you're ready to rock and roll, you can just start that XCOM. And then, once you start that project, depending on what you wanted to do, like for me, I could easily go on live right now, throw my YouTube channel in there, put me on live, and then just put the Frogwiftools on, and then put the wallets to slowly exit out every 25%, every 5,000. I don't even got to touch it. You know what I'm saying? And then now I'm talking about, oh, Pikachu, LARP, blah, blah, blah. Is it real project or is it LARP? I mean, it's kind of hard to say nowadays with AI, because AI makes everything LARP, because it takes like 10 seconds to create. Like this, theoretically, back in 2024 when AI wasn't around, even if this was LARP or not, for you to code this shit, this was a real project. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the game just kind of changed a little bit here, So I just talked to one of my students actually the other day. He was telling me he was creating a LARP play, and I said, okay, what you're doing? He said, well, I figured out how to submit actual Google Play software and it get approved. And it might not work full heartedly, but it's a real app that people could download. And I'm like, well, bro, like that's not LARP, that's real. Like even though it sucks, it's not the best software. That's a real project, And so I find that the more AI you can use to your discretion, you literally will give people what they want anyways. They just want to buy it, and they don't even want to really invest. Like a real investor will hold for years or days or months. They just want to really just hedge,
Yeah.
So the best you can provide beyond the mechanics of the contract, because you got to also remember when you go into things such as Axiom, the other things that we need to talk about too that are not to, no matter what bundler you decide to use, you have to be aware of certain things. Like for example, let's go into a random contract real quick. All right, so let's go to what's going on here. Rush this. My Axiom wants to act retarded probably right now. Let's see here. Do I gotta go to Padre? Go to Padre. All right. Try now. All right. Let's log in this bad boy. Okay. All right. So we're in here. So I want to show you something here. A couple things. So when it comes to specifically your deploys, right? I've done some significant tests that I'm not even sure if I uploaded them or not. I think I have. I've uploaded so much shit. I forget what I upload sometimes. But basically, some tests that'll help you in the long run. So first of all, when it comes to these things, let's talk about certain things. So obviously, the top 10, there's no stopping that. And at the end of the day, if people have supply, it's going to be a 10 to 25%. And plus, on pump fund, that's pretty much expected. However, I do want to let you know, though, that this number can be fucked with, but it's like what happened last night. I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes, in order to find out how to be very successful with these tools that manipulate the market, you have to be manipulated yourself. And so you got to jump into a contract. You got to really see like how they do things to be able to be like, okay, I can emulate that same process in my own tools. So with this thing right here, like, we got to remember, if you have the liquidity to, you theoretically could create up to, like, say for example, 800 wallets theoretically, right? Mm-hmm. And those wallets theoretically could be set up. Now you couldn't do this in Pumpkit. Pumpkit can only do up to 50 wallets. So it's also good to know your pros and cons, obviously, right? And certain things that you're doing, right? But if you weren't using Pumpkit, let's say you're using for example Frogwiftools, or hell, even if you were using Kinesis or any other bundler, I think has, I don't know any bundler that doesn't have a max besides Pumpkit, but there's a reason for Pumpkit to have a max. It's on a server. It's on a, but anyways, basically, if you had, let's say, up to 900 active, right? And let's say, hypothetically speaking, all 900 of those wallets were not only they were not new. Let's say they were at least 3 days old. And let's say also you did the correct thing to make sure that they were seasoned, which means specifically mixing them through the hard dispenser and then immediately buying a coin on Solana. Now, let me show you something here. let's go something. Are you familiar with the mixing process at all as far as how to clean bulb maps?
Yeah, I was watching like a lot of videos on that on your channel too, so I
Okay.
kind of like.
I'm gonna show you an example. So we're gonna take a wallet here that I have, and what I want to do here is just show you real quick while I got you here, um, what you should do immediately to make sure the wallets don't show up on bubble maps when you start to season them. So
Mhm.
in the very beginning, when you do your transactions to the wallet, when it's your hard disbursements, the first transaction that goes in there, so usually it's followed by this quote unquote casino dust. I'll show you what that looks like right here. It's a
Yeah.
spam dusting.
Hmm.
These spam dustings are also, I think that honestly, if they're, I mean, they may or may not be working with Inside X directly, but I know for sure that if they show up on top of a transfer, you're automatically that wallet is just going to show on bulb maps. That's just what it is.
Hmm.
So a lot of times I've had students where they've literally had like hundreds of wallets, but because they didn't go ahead and do this, which is what I'm showing you right here, buy something real quickly from Pump Fund. I bought something for 0.0005. As
Hmm.
soon as literally
Can you
I
move your
funded
screen
it. Oh yes,
screen up so I can
I
just
got you.
see that? Thank
Yeah, see it now, right there.
you. Not yet. Hello.
No, oh, hold on,
No.
my bad. Let me see where am I at? Where are you at? Is this
Oh yeah,
one?
there we go. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, perfect. So yeah. So yeah, basically 15 days ago, this particular wallet was funded with 0.51 just to start with the hard disbursement. And then from that point on, I did a immediate buy. Now, the thing about it is, if you have leverage, like for example, Frogwiftools has a warm up tool. I believe some tools are getting them, like CoinWave might be getting them too, but warm up only the only thing what warm up does is it goes and takes the wallet and it buys a token from a random contract, but for a very very small amount. And though that is a very very simple task to do, and it also sells it too, so that way you get your on it back. But
Mhm.
not only is that I know that's a very simple task, but it's also more about moving in a way where you can do it like leverage. So like if you're trying to do 500 wallets, if you didn't have this type of tool to go in there manually for you and instantaneously over a course of like 5 minutes and do this, you can't human. One person can't go and do that by. It has to be done by a robot, right? And so
Right.
this is the leverage you'll get by using things such as a warmer tool such as Frog, because at least now you have the ability to now warm up. So I'm only giving you this education here because going back here, if you, for example, I'll give you this little trick because a lot of people bundle, but sometimes they do different things. Like for example, you take 900 wallets, and this is only, I wouldn't recommend this for a person that has like only like 20 soul. If you're coming in here with over like maybe 50, 60, 70, 80, 100, 80 soul, like it's different. Well, they're only doing this because they're trying to bring this top 10% number down, and it makes the contract look super bullish, even at 200K market cap or 100K. What happens is a lot of basically wallets come in and grab a small amount of supply at very, very, very quick. So you would set those 800 wallets to basically come in and just start buying up 0.02, 0.01, and it also essentially creates holders too. So you're kind of killing two birds with one stone. You're not only making the top 10 percentage forced to be lower, but also you're making the holders being more bullish than it is. And as you can know, if you had a meme such as the one I was telling you about, for example, like KFC, they're the ones that posted it, right? Millions and millions of views. The tweet has millions of views, and now it's a meme itself. The image is a meme. You would think that from the psychological point that it would be being hit up like crazy because it's a very big popular source, right? And so
Mhm.
that's what the bundler job was to do, essentially, is to create this fake sense of volume, but also keep some of these numbers down so it makes it look like it's organic. Now, if you're anyone on half a brain, if you simply go to this little bulb map chart here and you see that like it's just like bogged the fuck up, you'll be like, oh, it's just fake volume. But that's
Can you
what
move
I'm
your
telling
screen
you
up,
about.
please?
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
sure. My bad. I
Yeah.
keep forgetting because I have two screens open and one's showing yours
Oh
and
yeah.
one's not. But the bulb maps here, you see that there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what I was saying is that if anybody had half of a brain, essentially it would be about um making sure that everything was entwined in. Now, what I was telling you before when it comes to Soul Scan is if someone actually did their due diligence, which a lot of people do, they spend like 3 or 4 days before launching doing what I was just telling you about, making sure these wallets are warmed up, making sure that there's no dusting before the actual transaction or right after the transaction. If you do that successfully within, like for example, amount of wallets, then you get a situation where if you get that tweet in your hand, you post it within the amount of time, within 24 hours or whatever it may be, because it's fresh, and now you come in with a shitload of volume. You literally manipulated the market because you got a source that's high prime source count, easily snipeable because it's obviously KFC's on their own. Then now you got the top 10 looking like it's at like 10% or lower, even though the market cap is at maybe 80,000 because all these fucking small little distribution came in and bought like little Indians, And then next thing you know it too, the dev's probably out because you probably sold the dev from the beginning. You don't even have the dev in the project because it's supposed to be a quote unquote community play anyways, right? The snipers look like zero because you bought with a 0.01. You're like creating a shitload of holders at the beginning. Yeah, trust me, there are some holders coming in, grabbing more, but the army of 900 of 0.1s equal like a big ass 40 souls, basically, or 50 souls, And so, and then at that, insiders are looking green. Everything's looking pretty much green. You know what I'm saying? And if you have the liquidity, which a lot of time these guys do, just to push it to past decks, because that's what you would assume if it is a KFC or some type of multi-million-dollar or multi-million follower X account source, you would think that would bring that type of attention. And then also you would think that they probably wouldn't be paying for decks because it would be a community play, so you wouldn't have to worry about decks being paid because the coin's coming from the source anyways. It's about the community paying for it if they want to. So all those factors, and some of these people literally that used to do just like old school rug pull plays, like just come in with velocity, now are sitting back waiting for specifically certain niches to release, certain type of idea tweets, right? So they can just come in with 900 wallets because it's more successful for them to swipe out 30 grand, on a play like that rather than coming in and doing like, oh, let me just do 10 wallets or 30 wallets real quick and it's a tweak. No, you would think that type of volume would come in with more pressure. So it's a different structure for everybody, but everyone has a different way of doing it. It's just a matter of how you want to do it. And I just showed you just one way really quickly as far as how a whale would come in and have all of these essentially being green lit and would essentially fool normally traders to ape into these contracts thinking like, oh, the source is there, there's a lot of holders there, everything's green, why not, And then next thing you know it, the chart is at 3,000 market cap and you're 98% liquidated.
Yeah.
Because of those small holders, not because of the big ones, because the small ones sold everything. All of a sudden you see all 900 holders go down to be now only 120 holders in the contract. So it was a bullshit from the beginning,
Yeah.
So but yeah, things like that would require, beyond the liquidity and beyond the actual source of the actual tweet itself, a platform like Frogwiftools or a platform like Coinwave, something that will allow you to have a limited amount of wallets, and also would require an RPC node that you probably would house yourself. Like me personally, I have my own RPC when I use Frogwiftools, but it's another layer of things that you just have to have beyond just using one particular web bundler like Pumpkit, because Pumpkit allows you to have basically everything under the table. Like you don't have to worry about paying for the node or the VPS. Everything's basically packaged into one package for you.
Right.
So yeah.
So in regards to the wallets and how to like warm them up correctly, and when you look at them, as long as the third transaction is that dust, then it's fine, right?
Yeah, as long as the one right after the mixed funds is not dust. You want to buy immediately from a contract to be able to not show that.
So first one is the deposit. The second one is the one that you buy the small amount, and if the third one is that dust, that's fine.
You're good. You're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, sometimes like honestly, like that play that I just talked to you about, people are sometimes lazy and they don't have the time to do that. And the people that don't that, they still profit. Like literally, like I was telling you last night, the guy that did that last night, he didn't even fucking redust his wash wallets. All those ones that are coming in at 0.001, like buying up like small portions just to be holders, literally were coming in tied in as like a big plethora of just wallets together. And at that point, some people, even professional traders, don't care when it's coming from a source that could potentially go to millions, you know?
Right. So if I just want to do like these small launches where where pretty much I just buy, sell dev, and then just get, I was looking at the ones where you put like, you can sell automatically at like 3% of supply.
Pumpkit will be great for that. Like in regards to essentially killing snipers is what you're essentially kind of talking about, right?
Yeah.
And I've done this consistently. Now, the one thing, and I'm glad you're a sharp guy, so you can have an understanding about behind the scenes how these snipers works. Because one thing about that is, I'm not sure if you're aware. Have you ever been like, for example, Discords, and a person in there was like, "Hey, does anybody have any old wallets?" Or "I'll buy old wallets." Have you seen people say?
Yeah,
that?
I've seen those. Yeah.
Okay. Do you know why they're saying?
Honestly, I mean, I know it's probably a scam, but I was like, well, I never get a hold of one of them, so I don't know what.
Yeah. And you know what's funny thing is, I'm gonna tell you why they do that, right? So the reason why is because 9 times out of 10, if they're in bundler groups, they're bundlers themselves. They realize that sharps, well, for example, bundler companies like Sharp, sniping companies like Sharp, are literally setting the filter protocols for older wallets when they're doing like certain buys and copy trades. And if you have access, for example, what I've done is those wallets I've shown you, the one I just showed you on SoulScan just now, that was 15 days old. After letting it sit there for 5 days, just like season and marinate and not touching it, coming back for 5 days later, every fucking launch, I swear to you, every fucking launch that I did a under 3 soul supply buy, so that nothing over 3, it wasn't too crazy, because obviously you can tell on the sniper side, and filter in and gauge that way, but everything was profit, whether it be $20 profit or whether it be $150 profit, because shit people, a lot of people came in. I was literally rinsing like 50 wallets that I had this season, and then after I did that, the next day it was like less profit, just due to the fact that I was probably like quote quote kind of blacklisted in a sense, not just for a couple days. 1 second, let me get this phone call. My bad. 1 second, brother.
Oh, that's fine.
All right, so what was I saying here? Where was I at? I forgot.
You were telling me about like how you were launching and making like small amount of money.
Yes, absolutely. So, all right, yes. So just to go back into that a little bit here, right? These wallets, one of the reasons why they want these wallets that are essentially older, is for the fact that they want to, first of all, they don't want to have to do the season process. It's like, you think about it like this, like if you know, this is like a funny story, but this is kind of real though, like, right? Like, if you know that, like, you make the best crack in the world, and all you gotta do is put your coke, like, you get your bundler is your stove, and then like your baking soda is like is maybe your RPC or your VPS, and then you got the crack, which is the meme, and then you put it together, right? And at some points, really, in the game, you think about it, it's like there comes a point where you're like, all right, I need to literally get to a point where I continue to profit, because if I don't have the wallets that are going to allow me to have depth, not enough, like, for example, I don't got to come with a lot of liquidity, right? I can just continue to like launch like season plays, then I'm gonna want to have like 800 wallets on standby and try to run up those like for like 5 days straight with just quick launches, because they're buying into them, because they're thinking that people literally are coming up with ideas. They're not essentially using these wallets consecutively to basically. And also, you got to remember too, a lot of time these raw snipers, they are setting their profitability on what the wallet is, and a lot of time in Axiom, they come up as pro traders. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but like when you start a new contract, it's weird, and it's a bad thing and a good thing. The thing about it like this: your wallet is usually high P&L because you're a bundler wallet. So when you have 30 to 40 wallets, right? And there's
Mm-hmm.
and usually in the pump fund world, it's about 100 holders that are trying to hold the floor down until it migrates, type of shit. And then it says 40 pro traders are in the contract. People are looking at like, wait, why isn't this shit at like a million market cap? Who's these pro traders? Like, and then it makes it bearish because again, Axiom is kind of giving everyone like the sauce, like, hey, this is not a project you probably should be involved with if there's like 40 pro traders in there and the market cap's at like 16,000 because theoretically 40 of those traders are probably bundler wallets, That's what it literally means. And I think as long as we understand that as like bundlers and understand the traders mind state, it doesn't take a pro trader to understand that. Like it literally says that on Axiom. So I think people are just getting more smarter, honestly. And if we don't basically like PvP that, it just becomes to a point where you kind of find yourself like assed out basically. So just want to kind of
Right.
keep that mindful.
So, with like a strategy like this, where you do like the quick launches, do you have to change the dev every time you launch the coin, or you can just reuse the dev wallet?
So say that last part.
Do you have to switch the dev wallet, or you don't like
Gotcha.
per
So
launch?
the thing about that is, again, if you were, for example, more so of a velocity guy, like for example in the Kinesis world, where they were just continually to boom, 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 it'd probably not be a good idea to keep the same dev because you're kind of making it look like these are like random big plays. You're starting new wallets the whole time, every time, new dev wall all the time. You keep your same bundlers possibly. Maybe you might maybe use new bundler wallets, but either way, it's more like a high velocity play. Now, if you're a CT dev, right, where you're like specifically into certain niches, then it'd be highly advantaged for you to keep your dev wallet because then the people are looking at those wallets as this dev. For example, on PumpFund itself, you can literally name your dev wallet like let's say for example, Trump dev. So every freaking coin that you've been deving is Trump. Even if it's like a 5-second play, it's just Trump, 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 Trump. You over time, people see that and they start to follow that dev wallet to the point where once you start migrating just off of play, you're gonna get creator fees. Because sometimes people just honestly sit there with literally their bundlers, not even using their snipes. They might come in with like a block 0, but they'll do like 400 projects for 400 like launches and like consistently. They might literally 0.02 waste their fees over, but they rather do that and get it like in passive income $5,000 worth of transaction fees potentially from a creator fees. Then and they're getting the back end money. You know what I'm saying? So you would be surprised if you sat there and you're like, all right, man, I'm gonna put in a loss leader here of like 3 soul, 4 soul. Rather that could be a trading play. Rather that 3-4 soul was literally 400-500 launches, or just consistently just
Right.
nonstop. And then sit back after the 300 launches and tell me you don't got fucking creator fees. I bet you will. Like you'll have like probably $3,000 worth of creator fees, 2,000. Like people think that way, but people don't want to do the work. It requires you to still go find the meme, go do it, and then go launch it. Do it again. Keep doing it again. Keep doing it.
Right.
So, but it makes it easier over time because that particular dev wallet becomes that niche to that specific thing.
That's why I was like looking at the, like, for example, CoinWave. It's so easy to launch the coin there from their feed that you can just pretty much just do that over and over again, like pretty fast. Like I don't know. I was looking at it, the new web pay as you go plan that they have on the CoinWave, but Pumpkit, I think I think it's good as well. Like you said.
I think so too. I believe I'm gonna ask them. I'm really gonna ask them because we got a good rapport. If he's thinking about doing CT stuff, I'm really curious if he's interested in that at all. Honestly, the bundler I feel isn't really set for CT stuff, but I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, for me To be honest with you, for me, what I'm going to be doing is focusing on three things when it comes to devs, because like as I was saying, there's different type of niches and dev audiences, right? My three things that I'm going to focus on for me personally is streaming, because I do like literally behind me. There's a backpack there. I'm not sure you can see it. There's a backpack, black right there. It's a streaming backpack, and so I can literally go to any business and tokenize it. Like I could just pull it, say like, "Yo, you a lawyer? Oh, cool. I have an idea. Let me pull up real quick and let's do a commercial on Pump Fun." You know what I'm saying? And then boom, I'm the lawyer. Boom, there's a lawyer token. So I think that it could work. It's just right now I'm focusing on what I want to do. Is I would like to do what I was showing you before, which is two things. One is the dev play of the Frogwith, where I'm just live and I have things going because I actually have real projects that I've created that helps the ecosystem out. So it's like, for example, I have like CTO this, which is a play where I'm not sure. I'll show you real quick. You can basically take any Pump Fun contract and CTO it.
Oh, yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, so you basically, let's say if you're on Pump Fun right now, and you're on a play, you're on a project, and like it dumped or whatever, you can, and let's say the X community also got deleted or something, right? You can go to the beginning of Pump Fun, literally in the beginning of it, and just type in CTO this on any of the coins on Pump Fun. Just type in CTO this, and it'll literally directly take you directly to the coin market cap and the live chat room and everything right there.
Oh, no.
So I'm gonna launch this soon, just so the world can like have like some leverage,
Right.
So
Are you able to? Are you able to show me the on? Let's see, what was this on? Oh, hold on, I had written down. Let's see. Oh, on like deck screen, you mentioned in a couple of your videos that you go there and you can kind of like see what the narrative is, or what the meta is. Like, how do you do that? Like, how do you check like that?
Deckscreener.com. Basically, you want to filter for, first of all, Solana pairs. From there, you want to go to Pump Swap or Pump Fun. Pump Swap, actually, because those are the ones that actually migrated already. From that point on, you want to filter out the ages. Obviously, things within the first 24 hours is something you're going to want to look at here. These are obviously the ones that kind of made it, and some of them are going to be tech, some of them are going to be LARP, also some of them are going to be just straight up just like narrative. Like for example, Pokédex. There's a lot of Pokemon stuff coming out right now. There's also this one, and so with that being said, a lot of times you can get like the ideas by simply going here and grabbing, for example, this Pokédex one, right? I can grab the save as. I can save this banner, and then literally what I can do is I can go to, are you familiar with Banana, like Google Banana?
No, I'm not sure what that is.
So Google Banana is a way where you can essentially edit really quickly images. So for example, I can tell Google Banana, after I can save that image, for example, I can save that header, I can tell Google Banana, turn this Pokemon ball into like a drag queen, or like something you could just talk to it, like an AI, and it basically will really do a really, really good job in making it look like it was edited that way without having to actually be a Photoshop editor. So now you literally stole someone's whole fucking Google, banner, but made it your own, and then you tokenized it something else. So now when people see it, they're saying, "Oh, I could be the first one because this one's already on deck. Because I could see this being at least at 100K or at least being at 200K. I wouldn't go with this one because it's at 40K, but I would go with stuff like that has higher numbers to them. Like when the first 24 hours maybe got to, for example, like 600 or up. For example, this bullish coin, bullish Degen right here. This one right here. So bullish, what would be the opposite of bullish? Would be bearish. So I could literally go here to save as, and then I can like go to Banana 2, say make this red, make him really scared, and put a bear and replace the bear with a bull, right? And then boom, you got the bearish fucking coin, and then people get it because they're like, you can put the narrative on the CA when you drop it on Twitter, and this is where it becomes interesting too, honestly. And this is where I found out too a little sauce that I'm gonna tell you. I haven't told anybody else, but now that we'll put on YouTube, everybody else will know. But if you go to you go two options. You can go to either swapped.co. Or you could just have buddies that that will willing to do this for you, but they have to have like nice little Twitter accounts, like nice leveraged X accounts that haven't been changed. The username hasn't been changed in forever. It's just an old OG account. But if you don't want them to drop the CA, you want them to drop the narrative in your community, right? So if they drop the narrative in your community, then that narrative is going to be posted on the actual CA address, right? As the actual person who dropped it. So if they say, for example, a person has 50,000 followers, hasn't changed their name since they had OG name Twitter. They're the ones that followed your community. You can even go to Fiverr, low key. I ain't gonna lie, people are on Fiverr, but sometimes you gotta worry about it because now the Twitter's showing where their origin's from. But people on Fiverr literally have thousands of followers. They'll follow you and repost shit for like $5, $10, $15. But if you get a US person that has 100,000 followers just to join your community and then post a narrative, they don't even have to post a CA. If you want, they could post a CA theoretically because you could just copy and paste the content to them, and they just their job for Fiverr, $30, $40 is just to go in there and post a narrative on there, and then that's it. But the idea is to essentially tokenize that narrative and also tokenize that branded person that did it, so that way people have a understanding that potentially that person was the one who actually started the contract when really it was you. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So bada bing, bada boom. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get this video over to you, brother. And do you have any other questions? You could always ask me in the Discord and stuff too.
Okay, should I just use the ticket that we have, or?
Yep, you can use ticket, or you can just open a new ticket. It's up to you. I'm always in there. Bada bing, bada boom.
Awesome. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you can.
Thank you so much.
I think the only other questions I had is that when I use Pumpkit, what the settings should be like for the 20% bundler, or I think that was the only other question that
you said. The 20%. We talking about the
what settings do you use when you do these?
So I go in ahead and I do a launch with the 3 soul, no more than 3, because anything over 3.
That's right. Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah. I saw that, and then you only use dev plus 3 wallets or dev plus 4 wallets.
So with Pumpkit, it'll be dev plus 3 wallets, but you can do up to 12. So the reason why I'm doing 3 is because once we go back to what we were talking about beforehand with Padre, we are specifically we could come in with 12 if we wanted to. The problem is that these fuckers, these Exium and Terminal and Padre fuckers are tracking us. So when we do that, our bundler percentage and sniper percentages goes to 33%. It literally tells everybody that someone's holding 33% of the supply. So if I come with 12 wallets, yes, they'll be off of both maps as clean, but they still show up as 33% snipe, which that don't look good at all. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I did 3, because that's block 0. That comes in 7% snipe, and then after that, you come in with wallets after block 0, and it won't show up on the radar.
Also, dev plus 3. Okay.
Yeah. Now, the great thing with the Pumpkit is you can have it set up to auto sell, so that if there's any snipers that do come in, it will just immediately sell on top of them you get profit. So you could just always restart the contract over again if need be.
Right. Okay. And then you recommend to keep that number at 4% or 3% then?
3 to 4. I keep it at about 4, but you can always play with it. Again, one of the things that really matters here though is those walls behind the scenes. Making sure they're old enough, a couple days that with no history on them. Maybe they do have history. I'm sorry, they're seasoned, but they haven't been used maybe in 4 or 5 days. That brings in more snipers. That being a sharp guy.
Right.
The more the better those. If you can start collecting those, then you kind of much are gathering fire for your engine, basically.
So when I create the wallet, do I have to right away found like
immediately. Not
found.
create the wallet, but more when to actually disperse the transactions. You can leave it there like 10 days with nothing in it, and it won't put no dust in it. It only cares about transactions to create dust.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yes, sir.
And the only other thing was like in settings, if you can just show me the pumpkit
Pumpkit.
settings. You had the specific. I think I watched a couple of videos as well. Let's see.
You're referring to the presets?
Yeah, presets. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so basically within the presets, so I was referring to easy mode. There's basically 3 different modes I have set up: 25, 50, and 75. Basically, 25 is gonna give you like cell pressure on like you're trying to paint a chart, and it's gonna sell, and do less buys, but like more sells. The 50 will do even, whereas 75% will do more buys than less sells. So depending on what you're doing with the chart, when I was showing you that particular chart I was doing here, I would literally go from this one, for example, when the red's going down like this, that's me being in preset 3, which is like setting 25. It's more sales than buys. Then when I'm here, I'm 75. Then when it's just bouncing up and down, it's 50-50. You see what I'm saying? That's
so
how
you
it's working.
change the
velocity
settings, on the go, like with
Yeah,
shortcuts.
They're all here. So now, like, P1 has its own parameters, P2 and P3 will have their own parameters. And then when it's time to actually engage in them, you would just hit Shift 1, 2, and 3. That'll give you, it'll put you in whatever preset you want to be in. Yeah.
And for slippage, do I keep it at like 10% or 20%?
For slippage, I would keep it at about 10-15. Yeah.
10-15. Okay.
Yeah. 10,
And then
10's fine.
For the fees, you use like what 0.00.
Yeah, I
01?
keep them. Yep, I keep all these the same. 0.001, 0.001. Yeah, I don't change these at all.
Oh, you don't change them? Okay.
Yeah, I don't change them at all.
Okay.
The transaction interval is something you could possibly change. However, this is what allows the walls to come in. Let's say if you have 5 walls to come in like sparse in different times. If you disable it, all 5 walls will come in at the same time, which is not so good sometimes because the radars of Axiom will possibly read that as potentially bundled. So it's always good to have random and make it like 0.1 to maybe 2 or 3 seconds, so that way they're all kind of back to back on top of each other, not sort of top each other. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, so it's better to use that option as well when you launch.
Yeah, well, this not just launching. This is when you're essentially sending multiple different wallets at a time. That way, they don't come stacked on top of each other. They don't appear to be bundled because they'll on actual Axiom they'll have a bundle icon if that happens, and then you'll be like bundle icon for the rest of the CA.
Well, yeah, that's right. Okay.
All these small little things essentially account towards everything. That's why personally for me, like that's why I was telling you earlier, I would rather just set it, forget it. Frogwiftools with me. 10, 12 wallets, easy, get on my live stream. But again, I like to have advantages that most people don't like to do. And the one thing that most people don't like to do is turn that fucking camera on. And if I can turn the camera on and still fucking rug or still fucking extract or whatever, then that's you're just giving yourself way more advantage, So that's why I personally like to do projects that have a little bit like, regardless, will help them. Even if I the CTO one, if I rug that CTO play, they still have value in it where they can use it and they can use it to their growth for Solana.
Which software did you use to like steal those live feeds? I was watching like from
the live feeds of
PumpFun. You went to like live and then somehow you took the feed from their PumpFun and you said you can copy it into yours coin. And you had this software. I don't know if that still works.
I think that was either CoinWave. These are CTs. I think the live feeds. So these, I think that's either CTs or CoinWave, or it might be like something that it was done with Alpub. Definitely check out the Alpub play too that I just put out. It's probably one of those though. But I do have to get going. But I'm gonna send you this video here so you have it for your discretion, brother. And then if you have any questions, just let me know.
Okay, I will. Well, thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure, brother. You have a wonderful, blessed day, man. Thank you for your time. God bless you.
All right. Yeah, thank you.